Hey everybody, this is G Rider and I've got some exciting news. I've just purchased a brand new motorcycle. This is my 2011 Honda CBR250R with anti-lock brakes. It's Sunday, July the 10th, and I just got my motorcycle yesterday. I've ridden it about 120 miles, and as you know, my last motorcycle was a Yamaha Star 250, and I wanted to try something different. So I sold it and bought this motorcycle yesterday. It's an all-new designed Honda motorcycle with a single cylinder. It's water cooled. It's got a 4-valve engine. It's fuel injected. There's the back view. Brand new from the dealer. As I said, or as implied by the name, it's a 250cc bike. Let me start it up. So now I've got the bike in neutral, and we'll start it up. Makes a cool sound when you start it. Sounds like some kind of fan or something's blowing. Let me give you a view of the instrument panel as I start it up. I rode this bike from the dealer yesterday, and the first thing I had to do was get on the expressway, a couple of busy expressways, and ride it home a pretty good ways, because this motorcycle is very hard to find and on the dealership lot. They're in high demand, and so I got one at a place that was a good distance away from where I live, and I rode it home and then rode up to the mountains, and that's why I've already got about 120 miles on it. Following this video, I'm going to put on my helmet cam and take a short ride and give you that view as well. So this is G Rider. I am getting ready to take a short ride on my new Honda CBR250. As you would imagine, this is a very different style of riding from the Yamaha Star 250. This is styled as a sports bike, and you sit slightly differently. You sit leaning a little more forward, and your feet are back and your knees are up against the gas tank. And the mirrors are down lower. I had to adjust those a few times to get those where they worked right for me. The ride it's an exciting ride. It's very much like being on a little jet fighter. I can feel the speed a lot more on this bike compared to the Yamaha. The Yamaha has a very smooth engine with the V-twin. Great bike on the expressway, great cruising bike. As the name implies, it's a very smooth riding bike. It's very easy to ride. This bike, one way to describe it is it feels like a car that's got a shorter wheelbase. You know, it feels like it's going to turn a little harder. And for me, that took a little, and still taking a little getting used to, because you feel the leans a little more. You got to lean, you're leaning this bike to turn like you do all bikes. But when I took it off the dealer lot, I rode just briefly for a few minutes around the dealership, but it looked like the weather was getting bad, so I had to head home, and I had to get on 2 expressways to get home right out of the bat on a new bike. And that was an uncomfortable feeling, to have to take off on a brand new bike and get on the expressway in fast traffic. But I didn't have a choice. I needed to get home. I thought it was going to rain. And so I did, and I stalled the bike coming out of the dealer lot because this bike needs to be revved a little more to get it moving without stalling. And I had read, that it was a great, first-time rider's bike, which I'm sure it is, and that the clutch was, particularly easy to let out, so I did it that way. But it needs a little more revolutions to not stall. So I've stalled it a few times, but I'm getting used to it. It's a 6-speed transmission, which is pretty cool. And this bike has, the latest technology in terms of the engine. The engine was made just for this bike. Like I said, it's a 4-valve engine, fuel injected. There's no choke on a bike with fuel injection, so this bike, doesn't have a choke. It's water cooled, unlike my other bike, which I'm kind of I think is cool as far as keeping the engine temperature down on the longer runs. But I never had an issue with that on the other bike. Just wasn't an issue. But this one is water cooled, and but it's a different ride. I don't have any cargo space. I don't have what I had on the other bike was a cargo rack, and I stuck a pack on it to carry stuff when I went on longer rides. Today I've got a backpack on with a few things in it, but I'm going to have to get used to more carrying a backpack and putting my stuff in there. But this isn't really a bike to stick a sleeping bag on and go camping or anything. It's such a pure street bike. I'd read a lot about it before I bought it. There's a lot of excitement about this motorcycle because it's the only other 250 street bike. The only other one is the Ninja, Kawasaki Ninja. This is a direct competitor of that bike, and there's already, you got your very strong Kawasaki enthusiast, and you've got people saying great things about this bike. I've never ridden a Kawasaki, and I hadn't even looked at it that closely, so I'm not going to express an opinion about it. I don't really have one anyway. I kind of like the Honda brand, always have. And my first mini bike was a Honda when I was a kid. And we never did anything to those bikes but rode them, and they never quit running. So I guess that kind of made me a Honda fan. As you know from my blog, I had looked at a BMW G650 GS, which is a more expensive bike than this, and I saw a used one that I really liked, and I was going to get that because I've said I wanted an adventure bike so that I could go back on gravel roads and take it camping and stuff like that. The evening before, I was really about to go buy that used 2009 BMW. I went on and read some things about the bike and people's strong opinions about the fact that the engine was made in China, and there seems to be a lot of bias around that. And I kind of agreed to some extent that if you're buying a European bike, you want a European engine, and maintenance is expensive on a BMW, and you feel like, well, I'm paying top dollar for parts and labor, but I'm not getting a German engine. So, but there seemed to be some, I don't want to say quality issues, but there were some issues that I saw that concerned me, and that's when I decided I would wait till later when maybe I would get, now they make the engine in Germany, and maybe I'll buy one someday with the German engine. So I'm just going to wait. This was a chance to experience a brand new motorcycle that nobody else had ever ridden. One of the things I learned, as I looked at new bikes is, they don't even put a spark plug in them until you're ready to buy it. And that way you know that nobody's test driven it or anything like that. And that's kind of a cool feeling. I sold my other bike on Craigslist, and it took a few weeks, but I'm glad to have been able to sell it. I think I got a fair price, and I got well over double what I was offered in a trade-in. But that said, they, dealer tried to rip me off on the trade-in, so this is a cool bike. I'm just learning to ride it. Look forward to taking it up to the mountains and doing some helmet cam from there and showing you a little bit more of riding in a curvy, twisty environment. But tonight I'm just near home, out taking a little ride, and it's evening. I waited till evening. It's just been amazingly hot and humid here in Atlanta this summer. So I just waited till evening to take a little ride. Right now I'm going over the Chattahoochee River, which runs through the city of Atlanta. I'm coming into Roswell, Georgia. I hate this street because it's got a reversible lane, and suddenly it occurred to me that maybe it wasn't going my way, but it is. But I still hate it. I want to get out of the reversible lane. You don't see those too often anymore. I hate them. This bike has ABS brakes, by the way. I was not going to buy the ABS version, but when I decided to buy the bike, the difference was $500, and I decided to go ahead and figured over the life of the bike. The ABS might really save me someday. I don't know. I'm not that worried about not having ABS, but at the end of the day, I thought, well, that's not a lot of money for the latest, braking system, and it might be what people are looking for when if I ultimately sell the bike someday. So I went ahead and paid the extra money to get the ABS. Well, here I am in Roswell, and I'm going to pull over and turn off the camera, but I do look forward to hearing your comments, and I do look forward to taking the bike up in the mountains and showing you what it can do up there. And take care. Look forward to you visiting my site again soon.